Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are continuing where we left off, which, as I recall, we had just traveled into a new system and have not yet entered into it to see what we find. So yeah, we're gonna head into this system, which I don't remember the name. See what's there. The music seems unusually loud. I don't know if that's just the opening and the game will be normal. Hopefully we don't still have that effect. I guess we can see if we open up our inventory and then close it again. No effect around the edges. Because we had an issue where some weird effect kept going on at the end of the last episode. Seems like the game audio is now normal, so it must have just been the menu audio. So let's see what this system is. Trinitas, which we think the Navicia... Navica? I don't know. Which is a rumor. Thousands of refugees from Winterscale's realm arrived on footfall aboard the transport Navica, but found no refuge there and set out for the desert world of Foulstone. So I guess we're looking for Foulstone or their ship. Two sets of pirates. I think I will hold off on dealing with either of those for now. Let's check out some of these other planets that we can safely get to. Okay, we've got more plasteel here. 7 this time. Do we have... We still have 5 plasteel we haven't sold. So I'm not certain I want to use one of my last 2 extractors to get even more plasteel. I need to figure out where to get more extractors. Nothing here. Desert world. So this is a desert world. It's not specifying that it was the one name that they were looking for. Foulstone. I don't know. Burning World also has nothing of value. And let's skirt around these pirates and get to this world. I think the pirates are attacking anyway.
This void ship will not be defeated.
Eldari. Okay. Enemy torpedoes. The enemies have launched torpedoes. However, you can destroy them before they reach you. Torpedoes are always fired in salvos. They do not have shields or hull integrity. Every attack that hits a salvo destroys 1 torpedo per shot. From here on out, you may encounter clusters of small ships that follow the same rules in combat as torpedoes. Okay, so we've got just 2 Eldari ships, I think. And then 2 sets of torpedoes. Okay. Torpedoes are already within the range of my long-range lance. So I could just take them out. I could also just try and go really fast and hope they don't have the turning radius to get back around to me because they're trying to fly that way. And just hope that that's good enough. Or if I blow up their ship, does that stop their torpedoes from steering to hit me? So if I went here, then I can't shoot that one, but I could take a shot at that one. What about if I got all the way to the end of my movement? Can I use either of my... Okay, I could use that one to take out the torpedoes, but not... There we go. Then I could hit that ship. Just barely. If I was here, I don't think I could anymore. No, nope, just outside. Trying to see what the best way to get as many of them in attack range as possible. So from here, I could shoot that ship. I could shoot either of them with that. That weapon doesn't work. And that weapon doesn't work. But I could go from... Was it back here? Yeah, from there I could shoot this one or the torpedoes. And then move forward and take the other shots. That might be the call. I don't think I want to ram. Yeah, let's move forward to there and get a solid shot here. Oh, miss. I think we just... Did we fully miss or did we... 0 shield, 0 hull. Well, that definitely didn't go according to my plans. Darn. I could still launch torpedoes basically from here and then move past them myself to finish my attacks. Because I don't want to launch the torpedoes from here because then they're heading kind of this way while the ships are heading that way. So it might be better to put the torpedoes out back here. As long as I don't hit them moving forward.
Annihilate them!
The torpedoes there. And then I think we were wanting to go here. Yeah. So let's take only 58%. Let's take the shots here. And then I think I'll use this just to get as much damage as I can. The 58% is really bad.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars!
More misses. I don't know about this. And then we can't do anything with that. And there's a reasonable chance they will be able to just turn them to hit me. And then shoot me as well. But that's everything I can do on my turn, so let's see how badly this goes. Okay, that one couldn't get to me, which is promising. torpedoes here, I suppose. Maybe here. So they're pointing in the same direction that they're pointing. And then... I don't think the explosion would hit because I think it's just the surrounding tiles. So back to us. I could do swinging run, which I think is what I have to do. Torpedo control might be smart as well. If I had pointed it here instead, I think I could have hit. That's something to think about, that I can get a second round of movement with torpedoes. I think I'll just put it here. Make things a bit awkward for them. Yeah. Then we will do a swing run. I don't really know what that means.
The time has come.
But I'm thinking here. And then it turns us around. Good. They are within range. But I guess there's no harm in moving forward. That probably gives us better aim.
Fire the lance batteries.
Another miss. Alright, what is your guys' deal? 35% evasion. Hollow field creates a hollow projection that disrupts the targeting systems of enemy ships. Each attack made by an enemy has an equal chance of targeting either the real ship or one of its projections. Each time a projection is hit, the hollow field loses 1 charge. And it's showing they have 1 out of 5 hollow fields. So presumably we have hit a bunch of their projections. Same with you? 2 out of 5. Alright, so that's why we're missing, is because they have all of these hollow projections. And I can't send out more torpedoes yet. So let's end our turn. But at least we are facing them now. I think we'll be able to hit them with our torpedoes. We can hit this one. And that's good enough for me. There we go. Are you fully dead? Yes. Good. If I went here, you're out of range. But if I go here, I think you're still out of range. I can't get that angle I need. Well, that's awkward. Huh. Yeah, the only way to get diagonal is this exact diagonal line. Everything else I end up facing one side or the other. Which I suppose if I went, like, here, then we're good enough to get the angle. So we could do that. We could use that there. and shoot here. I don't suppose there's anywhere in that movement, I guess, to here, where they're within. So I'm thinking I want to be here long for the end, but from here, now I still can't hit them in that angle. Alright, that's fine. So I think I'm going to want to do all of my attacks from here. Sure. Try shooting you.
This one's going down.
Another miss. Maybe I should have started with the smaller attack options.
Fire right now!
That's gonna hurt if combat doesn't end upon killing this ship, assuming we're able to kill this ship. We're not able to kill this ship.
Leave the hull strewn across the stars! Unleash our
I wonder if I can use my torpedoes to block their torpedoes from hitting me. Either way, this turn right here is gonna hurt. I hope that torpedo just kind of flies off into space. Doesn't still be controlled towards me since the ship that shot it is dead, but it probably is still being controlled. Yep, it's still being controlled, but couldn't get enough of a turn to hit me. And same with that one. Nice. Now what are you going to do, Shadow Hunter? Being behind me is problematic. Hopefully I can still do the swing run. I can't. Well, disappointing. None of my attacks can do anything from here. I'm thinking I will turn... No, probably best to go this way. More likely to get some sort of cone pointed that way. Now, it's just nothing. Even from here, they're just barely out of range. So in that case, I might as well turn this way, so I'm completely away from their torpedoes. Yeah, just nothing I can do. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Let's go there. Next turn, hopefully I'll be able to finish them off. But I'm nowhere near their torpedoes, so I think I'm hopefully safe there. And launched more torpedoes, of course you did. Did you? Yes. We'll just go here. Now for this. If I went here, no. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to pull off either of my side shots, hitting them. probably with this, I can get them with the front gun, central gun, and that's it. As well as throwing down more torpedoes and potentially even a ram, if I felt it was strongly needed. So let's try this. Probably gonna miss again. I mean, I could have gotten broadside, as you say. Okay, the battle didn't end. So while their torpedo still exists, the fight goes on. I could have gotten to the side and been able to shoot, but then I would have only had one gun to fire. And I felt more confident being able to fire with two guns.
Another salvo!
So they are almost certainly going to hit me. I don't know if my torpedoes can block their torpedoes.
Annihilate them!
Or if that's just going to cause an even bigger explosion to hit me. It's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Another victory of 2 great dynasties, Lord Captain.
Thank you. So we got Wraithbone Fragments. Cool. 30 scrap. If we look at our upgrades, did I actually take any hull damage, or was it all just shields? Ooh, no, even a level up. That's even better. Although, can I see which I have people with the skill for? If we go to posts, so I wanted to say some people had let's see, she's got Arc Augury. I have in this post nothing, apparently. Abelard has new heading. And he has Shield Pulse. So new heading and Arc Augury are both ones that we have people who could use. While moving the flagship may make its next turn at 90 degrees instead of the usual 45. Okay. So it just allows us a sharper turn. That seems like it could be pretty useful. Or the next shot gains +2 range. I think that's less useful. So let's go with new heading. Oh, we get to pick 2 of them. I guess then Arc Augury. I thought someone had Warp Wave. Probably myself, but maybe I have to be in a specific post for that. Okay, if I was in the Shield Master spot, then I would have reinforced shields, which I think is one of the ones available. But I'm not going to be there. Let's see. Now I'm looking at everyone's abilities. But that Warp Wave, there it is. Warp Wave. Flows of the Imperium. Nope, come back. There we go. Flows of the Imperium cause an enemy ship to immediately turn 45 or 90 degrees depending on the ship's maneuverability. The enemy ship has suffered hull damage. This abrupt turn additionally deals damage equal to from 15 to 20% of the ship's missing hull for a 45 degree turn, and deals damage twice for a 90 degree turn. Does not affect ships larger than cruisers. So if Adira was the warp channeler, we would have the option to force a ship to turn and damage it while doing it. I mean, cool, I guess. but I don't think I'm going to go with that. So yeah, we'll go with new heading and arc augury. Post and abilities. On top of firing weapons, ship combat involves using abilities from various ship posts occupied by your trusted officers. Increase your ship's level to gain access to new abilities. Each post can have up to 2 basic abilities and 1 ultimate ability assigned to it. Only 1 ability from each post can be used per round. The cooldown time before an ability can be used again is determined randomly and can take up to 3 seconds. I think it requires our soldiers to have that ability. So even if a post has an ability, if the person in that post doesn't have it, I don't think we can use it. But it does seriously limit us to being only able to use abilities that both our ship and the person know. It feels like a huge limitation. So that's already upgraded. We could theoretically upgrade this, I would think. Though it's not showing up as upgradable. In order to upgrade this one, we need to use it, and same here. Why does torpedo control not show that it's upgradable? So what does the upgraded version do? 9 degrees instead of the usual 45, and the upgraded... Oh, it just reduces the cooldown from 1 to 2 rather than from 1 to 3. So he's just able to use it more often after we upgrade it. And then what about arc augury? How does it upgrade? Plus 3 extra range. So that one, same cooldown, but a longer range. Okay. We'll need to make sure to use those abilities so that we can then upgrade them. As for components, we didn't take any hull damage. So all that scrap we can just hold on to for potentially upgrades. Or dealing with ship damage at a later point. But yeah, that wasn't a bad combat. We've got another combat coming up, but let's actually get to this planet now and scan it. Foulstone. This is Foulstone. No resources. Monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Lord Captain, we have received transmission from Foulstone. It was sent by members of the Order of the Hammer, votaries of St. Cognatius, whose monastery is the only settlement on the planet. Or rather, it used to be. Some time ago, a transport vessel, the Navica, unloaded several thousand refugees from a planet belonging to Rogue Trader Winterscale. The Order of the Hammer has judged this invasion to be an act of aggression, is asking for your lordship's protection. We will not abandon people of faith in distress. Prepare a landing party and my shuttle. I'm taking the monastery under my protection. These people are victims, not invaders. Prepare my shuttle. I shall head to the planet and resolve this conflict, or this is of no interest to me. Ignore the transmission. I think I would rather try and resolve the conflict rather than side with the monastery and attack all the refugees. So we're going to attempt to resolve the conflict. As it pleases your lordship. Koronus Expanse, region Caesar system. Monastery of St. Cognatius, Foulstone. Material chronicle compiled by the humble archivist, Brother Petricos. 11 days after the feast of the passing of Nicomedes Keefe, the champion of faith, disquietude marred the calm of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Countless tortured souls steeped in fear arrived on Foulstone in a star bark. A great apostasy had befallen their home and turned them into abject wanderers seeking help and refuge. Their wicked and cruel captain, the owner of the Navica, I'm going to pronounce that different every single time, had betrayed them. Once the unknown souls in his care had made landfall on the world's surface, he most deviously recalled his shuttles and left, thus ridding himself of his duty of care to the unfortunate lot. Wow. So the captain just dropped them off on an unknown world and then bailed. Not knowing how they would survive in Foulstone's grim wastelands, the Forsaken people came to the monastery of St. Cognatius, and there they surrounded its walls. They hammered their fists on the gate and implored and wailed, "Take us in, protect us!" And what once was a place of serenity and grace was now full of din, disorder, and all manner of things despicable. The interlopers brought with them worldly futility and strife, and mayhap also the seeds of alluring blasphemies, if fiendly heathens lurked in their midst. After a prayer, Prelate Hectarchus turned his eyes to the past in search of instruction. Prelate Hectarchus recalled the first missionaries to set foot on Foulstone's vast wastelands, led by their zeal for serving St. Cognatius, and those missionaries had received the blessing of Nicomedes Keefe, the champion of faith, who had traveled with them in their starbark to found in this place a humble and pure abode wherein to cultivate wisdom and piety. And St. Cognatius, a man of great endeavors, a warrior and a wise artificer, never cowered behind the walls of a librarium, but stepped bravely into the darkness, carrying light in the palm of his hand, and he commanded others to do the same. And not only Foulstone, but many other worlds of the Koronus Expanse bear its imprint. And Prelate Hecarius did welcome the interlopers warmly as his guests, but he did warn his brethren to keep their vigilance. The brethren and sisters of the Order of the Hammer came forth to meet the strangers, carrying water and protein victuals, and medicinal herbs and jugs of promethium, but the crowd came to blows over viands, and blood was spilt, and many were trampled or mauled in the stampede, and some of them dwellers of the monastery. Then the warriors of the Order of the Hammer donned their flat cowls, inscribed words of praise to the God Emperor on their tactical visors, and went forth ready to render service in battle. With lasguns and bolters, they pierced the interlopers. With their chainswords and power flails, they struck them, and a great and bloody harvest was reaped that day. But the interlopers too, scant though their armament was, and scanter their skill in battle, slew many among the monastery's dwellers, for great were their numbers, and greater their desperation. The monks fled beyond their walls, and rang the vox alarm, and shut the gate, and commanded the armed guards to keep watch over that gate, slaying any who approached. Like, I get where both sides are coming from, but it feels like both sides went violent too quickly. Like, there's no explanation of trying to talk. I mean, I guess we had the Order offered supplies, and everything sort of broke down because the refugees just ran for the supplies, trampling each other and the monks. And they're just like, well, you killed some of our people. I guess we're just going to murder all of you. Which seems like a quick jump. A quarrel broke out. The hungry and the sick lay siege to the monastery, begging for help in their spite. They blocked the water collector and unpowered the janitorium. The faithful, in the meantime, made ready to resist. And a miracle came to pass. The God Emperor sent his champion, his confidant, his right hand. And then also the refugees here, where they're laying siege to the monastery begging for help. And it's like, we offered you help, and you killed our people by trampling on them. Now you're turning off our water while you asked for water. It's like, what is wrong with you people? Summoned Prelate Hecarius and the leaders of the interlopers to hold each to account for their deeds. Dogmatic commanded his formidable boarding force to fall upon the interlopers and slay as many as he could. I mean, to some extent, yeah. These refugees are being real dumb right now. Like, they've caused a lot of death for no reason. Iconoclast extended a veil of protection over the interlopers, taking them into his care and thereby all Foulstone with them. Heretical unleashed his armed force upon the interlopers and monks alike, wrecking great shedding of blood and pillaging for his delectation. Also heretical bade the dwellers of the monastery fight the interlopers for his amusement like beasts of war, and promised a generous boon to the victor. Cast a contemptuous eye over the aftermath of the bloodshed and departed with words of abuse and reproach. So, yeah, the top three are the best options. We could just talk to both the leaders and say, okay, tell me what's going on, sort out your differences. Those who are the most guilty get punished because they account for their deeds. And we'll just sort this out now with communication rather than bloodshed. Except for, whatever holding it to account results in bloodshed. The dogmatic that just says, you refugees, you started this is your fault. you get put to death for, causing problems for a holy monastery. Feels rough, but definitely is the dogmatic option. Iconoclast that basically seems to be saying, we will take the interlopers, the refugees, into our care. I'm assuming that means they just serve on my ship. Well, no, they're by all of Foulstone with them. Does that mean we are... I mean, that sounds like we would be putting a permanent presence on Foulstone. Potentially helping set up settlements, but also offering protection for the monastery. But as a rogue trader, they would have to then give back to us. What's the arrows? We will gain 1 people. Okay, so yes, that is bringing them onto our ship, I think. Heretical would give us profit factor. Dogmatic doesn't give us anything. I think I'm going to talk it out. The end result might be similar to Dogmatic because I do think that they're guilty, but I think talking it out is a sensible choice. The strangers, prodigious in numbers, beseech the rogue trader to take them in and give them shelter and protection as to his own servants. And spake they, saying, long have we wandered, swiftly have we fled. Many a woe and ordeal has befallen us. On many a father and son are we bereft. Now the warp hath taken the last of our strength, and we shall flee no more. And I'm just like, woe and ordeal has befallen you. And it's like, at least from what I can see here, much of that has been at your own doing. Like, you caused this. Some of it not. I don't know what caused them to originally flee their starting planet. And I don't know what caused their captain to abandon them here. And maybe they screwed up with him enough that he was just like, no, I'm done with you people. And they spake further, saying, without thy holy protection, we are doomed. For we fear annihilation at the hands of our kin who remain behind. For having fallen away from the sublime light of the Emperor, they have descended into bloody sedition and become murderers of no mercy. Murderers? Murderers? Don't know that word. Quoth Prelate Hectarius, ours is a pure and secluded abode. By worldly futility we are untouched, and so we wish to remain. These unknowing souls seek to capture our abode, avert this calamity of ours, for they are a people of malicious and multitudinous and misfated. Then quoth he, if it be thy wish to confer land upon these wretches, confer it, for Foulstone has arid land in abundance, but make it not our duty to care for them, for that is not our path. Provide for them, and provide for us, and we shall acknowledge thee as our planetary sovereign. So that goes back to the iconoclast option. The Blessed Rogue Trader. Okay, we get the same options. Dogmatic to cut them all down. Iconoclast, protect them. I'm going to go the Iconoclast. I typically go Dogmatic, but I prefer this Iconoclast option of taking control over the planet, having the monastery be subjected to us for whatever long-term benefits that is, and also getting a bunch of crew. So we're going to go the Iconoclast option. But if they try and pull any of these stunts while they're on my ship, I will probably just hack them down. Like, we're giving you one more chance. Extend a veil of protection over the interlopers, taking them into his care, and thereby all of Foulstone with them. Humbly, the Order of the Hammer heeded the God Emperor's confidant, and unsealed the airlocks and opened the gate of its abode, and brought forth gifts of virtue to relieve the suffering of the ill-stricken. After a prayer, the architect set to work. In accordance with the saint's teachings and the parameters set forth in the standard template construct, they erected spacious living quarters and sturdy fort walls for the planetary militia, and a spacious auditorium wherein to trade and store goods, and a proud censorum within whose walls clerks and servo-bondsmen would maintain order and keep statistical record. And a new yet righteous way of life came to Foulstone, and the people rejoiced, and all was good. We gained 5 iconoclasts. Only certain worlds, usually the most habitable, are suitable for establishing thriving colonies ripe for development. Completing projects and colony events can earn the rogue trader unique rewards that cannot be obtained through any other means. Projects are the backbone of colony development. Completing them requires resources that can be obtained by exploring planets and cosmic anomalies. Completing your project takes time. When you continue your travels throughout the Koronus Expanse, you'll receive a notification on the screen when a project is finished, informing you that the reward can now be claimed. So then we'd have to come back here, I assume, to claim whatever reward. Okay. So that's the same button. So if we'd gone with the dogmatic, rather than creating a haven for both the monastery and the people, we probably would have had different project options for just improving the monastery. Maybe. Dominion of the Hammer. The privilege of becoming Foulstone's patron is a tempting prospect for many. However, with the rogue trader's assistance, the Order of the Hammer will remain ultimate authority over the world. It blocks the High Throne and blocks a Celestial Protector, so those two options. But it leaves the monastery in charge of their own world. And in return, we get a flame weapon, two-handed flamer, 22 to 33 damage, only shoots once, range of 5, maximum 10. But I'm looking at that flamer shot stream, 1 AP. That looks like it's a pretty long stream. Because I've been thinking about getting into using flamers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 it looks like. Okay, so same range. We'd be able to shoot a stream of 10. Maybe that is just what this basic attack they're talking about is. Thousands of witches and heretics have been incinerated with this distinguished weapon, all in his name. Boiling in its fuel tank is no common promethium, but rather a highly potent mixture that detonates on contact with air. The armor penetration of this flamer is increased by 4%, but does not inflict the burning effect. Oh, it doesn't inflict burning. Well, that seems less good. What's the point of a flamer if you're not lighting people on fire? Because I'm wanting a good flamer, although again, range 10 max is not amazing. What about the High Throne? The Ecclesiarchy lacks a capital in the Koronus Expanse from which to guide the faithful. If Foulstone ascends to the status of a cardinal world, the Adeptus Ministorum will ensure the prosperity of their new planetary stronghold. Heretics will tremble when they hear of the alliance between House Von Valencius and the Ecclesiarchy. That's also tempting. Lord Captain's voidship gains the Emperor's Retribution feature, plus 5% to critical hit chance against Chaos enemies. Okay. I didn't actually look at what the rest of this. Holy Gifts times 20, 2 profit factor and 1 security. This one gives Holy Gifts times 20, 2 profit factor, 1 efficiency, and 1,000 Adrusians. What's efficiency? Affects the amount of resources produced by the colony, increasing it by 10% for each point of efficiency. So it makes the colony produce more goods. Security affects the ability of the colony to cope with negative events on its own. Or a Celestial Protector. No one in the Koronus Expanse will make a worthier guardian of the Sanctuary of Faith than the head of House Von Valencius. A marvelous basilica will be erected in his honor in the world's capital city. It will be decorated with a grand twin statue of the Emperor and the Rogue Trader. Thousands of parishioners and priests will say his name in their daily prayers and bring him reverent gifts. Lord Captain's voidship gains Shield of Faith feature, plus 30% to the Prow Shield sector. Not bad. 20 holy gifts, 2 profit factors, so that's the same on all of them. But then 1 complacency. Affects the amount of profit factor produced by the colony and the speed of projects in the colony, increasing or decreasing them by 10% for each point of complacency, respectively. So increases the profit factor, by 10%, but reduces project speed by 10%. I don't think I'm the sort to want a giant statue of myself built next to the Emperor on this planet. I mean, we haven't even had our high factotum replace the picture of Theodora in our room, because I'm waiting until we actually go to our main home world and go through the ceremony of being named Rogue Trader. At least that's in my mind the point where we officially take over as Rogue Trader, even though to some extent we have. And at that point, I'll take down the portrait. But it feels weird to have a giant statue of myself. At least at this point. I can understand the idea of letting them rule themselves, or calling the ecclesiarchy and turning this into basically a temple world. And I'm tempted by this one. Rather than protecting just this one little monastery, letting them have their way, instead turn this into a bastion of the Adeptus Ministorum. Because they say the ecclesiarchy doesn't have any sort of capital in the Koronus Expanse. So I don't know that necessarily this is the world to be the ecclesiarchy's capital, but if they need a capital, this is one we could give them. And that feels like a good thing for the Koronus Expanse as a whole, for the faith as a whole, rather than just focusing on the monastery. So I think I'm going to go High Throne. Okay, so they're going to work on this. Can we tell how long it will take? Not really, it just says 0% so far. Then at rank 2, we get a whole bunch of other options. To choose from. So when we finish this, we then get to expand even farther. I like how this system works. I think that's going to be fun. Yeah, so we got to wait for this one to finish first, though. Okay, colony. I don't know if this is all colonies, but this particular colony has just the 3 stats of efficiency, complacency, and security. And so we're going to boost security with this and leave the other 2 at 0.